X-Men 3: The Last Stand was the follow-up to one of the greatest superhero films of the early 2000s. Unfortunately, it was nowhere near the same caliber of film. So today I'm going to be outlining 5 steps to fix The Last Stand. And before we get into it, I want to remind you that you can participate in a fun little survey in the upper right corner. Step 1. Focus on the Phoenix storyline. The first X-Men film is 1 hour and 44 minutes long, and everything about it, from the abduction of the Senator to the poisoning of Xavier to the mysterious plans of Magneto, all revolve around the main plot, that Magneto is trying to turn the world's leaders into mutants. X2 is 2 hours and 14 minutes long, and everything about it, from the attack on the president to the attack on the school to the abduction of Xavier, all revolve around the main plot, that of Stryker attempting to kill all the mutants using Cerebro. X-Men 3 is back down to the same runtime as the first film, 1 hour and 44 minutes. Yet it focuses on 2 completely unrelated plots that both suffer from a lack of direction. Take any moment at all revolving around Jean Grey, and you'll find that it has nothing at all to do with the mutant cure plot, and vice versa. My solution to this would be to eliminate one of the plot lines, and given that the other 2 movies have both been building up to the Phoenix storyline, it seems obvious that the mutant cure plotline should be the one that is eliminated. Step 2. Keep the characters consistent. Some of the characters, especially Magneto, are incredibly inconsistent with their previous depictions. Up to this point, Magneto has been a clever behind-the-scenes plotter who plans out his moves with the world as his chessboard. In this movie, however, he's a straightforward mutant supremacist who leads rallies and plans terrorist attacks. In this movie, Magneto should have been a plotter once more, trying to figure out how he can maneuver events with Jean Grey to benefit mutant kind. Step 3. Don't kill Cyclops. Cyclops is supposed to be the leader of the X-Men, the emotional support of the team, and yet in this entire trilogy, he's relegated to insignificance. In the first movie, he's closer to a secondary character than a main character in an ensemble film. Then, X2 somehow managed to cut his role down to next to nothing. He gets knocked out during the inciting incident at the 35-minute mark, and then he's out of the movie for an entire hour, and has minimal story impact for the rest of it. Then in The Last Stand, his role is even smaller. He shows up twice in the first act of the movie, dying off screen in the most emotionally insignificant way possible. Yet his character was supposed to become the leader of the X-Men, not to mention the foil to Wolverine's character archetype. His Boy Scout attitude should have clashed with Wolverine's bad boy inclinations, as it did in the first movie, and by the end of the third movie they should have grown to appreciate each other and learn from each other. Instead, we have Cyclops leaving a Scott-sized hole in the team, which Wolverine adapts to fit perfectly, along with a little banter with Beast, which could have easily been transferred to Cyclops. And just imagine how emotional it would have been to see Cyclops giving permission to the man he hates to kill the woman he loves, knowing that it's the only solution to saving the world. Step 4. Make Xavier's death more meaningful. Xavier's death was much more significant than that of Cyclops, yet it still served as a near afterthought in the B-plot of a 1 hour and 44-minute movie. Magneto only made one passing reference to his best friend/enemy's death, and while it had a much greater effect on the X-Men, neither the Cure storyline nor the Phoenix storyline would have been significantly altered if Xavier had simply not been in them in the first place. That means that his death didn't have any bearing on the plot or cause anything to happen differently than it would have without him. Compare that with Obi-Wan Kenobi, who died so that the Millennium Falcon could escape the Death Star, or Gandalf, who died so that the Fellowship could escape the Mines of Moria, or Mufasa, who died so that Simba could escape the Stampede, or Jonathan Kent, who died so that...
Oh, you get the point!
Xavier's death should have benefited the X-Men, for the sake of the story, and for the sake of individual character development. Step 5. Don't add so many new characters. The first X-Men movie had 5 X-Men, 4 Brotherhood members, Rogue, Iceman, and Senator Kelly. That's 12 characters in all. The second X-Men movie subtracted 2 Brotherhood members and Senator Kelly, added Nightcrawler and Pyro to the X-Men, and William Stryker, his son, and Lady Deathstroke as antagonists. So again, that's 12 characters. The third movie subtracted Nightcrawler, Stryker, his son, and Lady Deathstroke, and added Beast, Shadowcat, Colossus, Angel, Warren Worthington, Dr. Rao, Leech, the President, Trask, Juggernaut, Multiple Man, Callisto, Arclight, and Kid Omega. That's 22 characters. So this film was half an hour shorter than X2, with 2 distinct plot lines and an extra 10 characters. And what makes this even worse is that the new characters are added at the expense of Cyclops, Rogue, Jean Grey, and Mystique, and without giving any reasonable development to Angel, Colossus, Pyro, and Leech at all. Instead of adding 14 main characters to the cast of this film, it should have continued to develop the characters that we were already given, especially Cyclops and Jean Grey, who are reduced to having merely bit roles in the plot of this movie. So what do you think could have made The Last Stand a better movie? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos in the future, please subscribe using the circle on the left. And be sure to press the bell icon so that you'll be notified when I upload. And thank you to everyone who has already subscribed to my channel. You don't know how much your support helps me to continue making this content.